I was going to buy the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and I came back with the baby Note 10 instead. Let me run you through these two devices and I can tell you why I chose the standard Note 10. Before we start, I've broken this full review up into 6 different parts. If you'd like to jump ahead to a specific topic, just go to the end of this video and click on the link to go to that specific video. Guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. As a first-time content creator, I would really appreciate the support. The way I see it, at first, I'm probably not going to push out too much content, so I'm not going to bombard your feed, so you might as well. Let's take a look at the Galaxy Note 10 specs. What's under the hood? Our region gets the Exynos 9825 7nm chip, which is an upgrade over earlier this year, the S10's 9820 8nm chip. Other regions just get the Snapdragon 855 across both those devices. The Note 10 comes standard with 256 gigs of storage, whereas the S series came out with 128 gig storage standard. We get 8 gigs of RAM, but in the 10 Plus variant, you get 12 gigs of RAM. These devices have an advanced heat pipe cooling solution called vapor cooling. The Note series comes with Gorilla Glass 6. The S line earlier this year came out with Gorilla Glass 5. And all Samsung's flagships from 2019 are IP68 water resistant. Battery capacities have been slightly upgraded, but the big change is in charging speeds. The Note 10 and 10 Plus come standard with a 25 watt charger in the box, but the Note 10 Plus can go all the way up to 45 watts. 45 watts not supported on the standard Note 10, but 25 watts is still a major upgrade over the S series earlier this year, which had 15 watts. A lot of people are mad that Samsung only put a FHD Plus display in the Note 10 rather than their staple QHD. Pixel density is not everything though. If you think about Apple's Retina theory, the Note 10 has 401 pixels per inch compared to the iPhone 11's 326 and 11 Pro's 458, and nobody complains about those displays. What's much more important than pixel density and what makes a great display is the addition of HDR10 Plus. This display is still a big improvement over last year's Note 9, which only had HDR10 and was QHD. FHD Plus also has a huge battery benefit, and the QHD displays are normally set to FHD Plus anyway, and most people won't even know. Both the Note 10s have a crazy 91% screen to body ratio, and the bezels are the thinnest I've ever seen. This allows the Note 10 Plus a massive 6.8 inch screen in the same chassis as the Note 9, which only had a 6.4 inch. It allows the Note 10 to have a similar screen size to the Note 9 at 6.3 inches and a much smaller chassis the size of an S10. This means you can have a small device without sacrificing screen real estate, which is important on a Note. The result is a Note that feels really special in your hand. A lot of people prefer a flat display, but I personally have always liked Samsung's curved displays. There's just something about looking at it from the side and you see that strip of light where the screen is spilling over the edges, as well as when you place it face down, somebody gives you a call and there's a pulsing blue light you can see from there. It's just nice. If you look at it from the side there, you'll see there's a camera bump, and that means if you've got it flat down, you're going to get a bit of that. But most of you will be using cases, so that shouldn't be an issue. Then there is a ultrasonic fingerprint reader underneath the display, which is really great technology, but it's a little bit slow. Not quite as fast as an optical reader, and I find I have days where it's quite quirky. You're supposed to be able to do it while it's wet, so I'm going to stick my finger in a glass of water here and see if we can get it to work. Okay, no match. No match. And on our third try it comes on. So a bit quirky, not great, but it's okay. The other thing that frustrates me is the palm rejection. When you hold your phone here, your palm does start to engage it and your scrolling can be a bit jumpy. I never had that issue before, but on this phone it is. Then the Infinity O display, the punch hole. I really thought that it wouldn't bother me at all, but when I started to watch video content, I found that there was this smudge out of the corner of my eye that I kept on trying to flick away, and it was the punch hole. Otherwise, the HDR10 Plus display on this phone is truly gorgeous. Deep blacks, truly vivid colors. Samsung really knows how to make a display. So before we carry on there, this phone has stereo speakers, 2 front firing, and they're tuned by AKG. Then it has a bit of a party trick where if you scroll into your menu here, there's a little button for Dolby Atmos. So I'm going to show you in this video by switching that on and off to see if you can hear any difference between the two. Let's take a look at the Note 10's camera and video features. So the camera setup is the same as you get on the S10. It's got a 16 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel wide angle, a 12 megapixel telephoto, and a depth vision camera on the 10 Plus, but you'll notice that's missing on the standard Note 10. On the front, you've got a 10 megapixel selfie camera. Switching between the modes is quite easy. Here's the 2x zoom. You just flick between these, and there's the normal and the ultra wide. If you want to do the effects on the live video, you shoot up to live focus video, and you can pick different ones, but remember, it's got to choose a face. So this is live video. The one I've picked is kind of a retro theme. It's got to find your face to pick it up. Does an okay job of keeping everything around you blurred. It's quite a neat feature. This is the black and white, and then this one just does the standard blur thing. Another feature in the camera app is the addition of air gestures. So you use the S Pen. If you just click it down, you can do things like zoom in, click the button and zoom in. Spectrum Patronus. Samsung called it the wand. If you go anti-clockwise, you zoom out. The frustrating thing is you can only zoom out 1 notch at a time, no matter how much, just 1 notch. If you swipe left and right, you can go between modes. You can just click it to start and stop a video or take a photo. If you swipe up, it goes to selfie mode. Swipe up again, goes back to normal photo or video mode. So let's just put that pen away for a second. The other thing that I was surprised with is the addition of zoom and mic. I thought that the Note 10 Plus would have this because of the depth sensor, but it turns out it's here on the standard Note 10 as well. So you go to your settings and you go down to advanced recording options. You can see there's a zoom and mic down there. You can just select it. And essentially what that does is in your video, you hit record and you can zoom in on a specific object in a noisy room, and it should isolate the sound that you're zooming in on. That's a pretty cool feature. So you'll notice when you're in the camera app, there's this little blue swirl here. That's Bixby Screen Optimizer, where Samsung uses artificial intelligence to enhance your photos on the go. There's a neat little feature in there that they didn't quite advertise that you can select called a document scanner. And what that does is it picks up that there's a document, you tap the scan button, go to your gallery, and it's taken that and reshaped it. This is the infamous AR Doodle. Fun for a little bit, but you're probably going to get over it pretty fast. So a really nice feature that's been added to these Android devices is a screen recorder. So there, it just times you in, and then you could walk people through some steps and it's just recording all of your movement there and so on. And then up here, you just press stop, go to your gallery, down to the screen recorder folder. Let's take a look at some of the accessories that you get in the box and some of the others that I would recommend for the Note 10. I've had my Note 10 for about 2 months now. I originally wanted to get the Aura White, but for supply reasons had to get the Aura Black. I don't like the Aura Glow, it reminds me too much of the back of a CD. So I'm going to take you through what you get standard in the box, as well as a couple of accessories that are going to be absolutely essential. Starting with the charger. This is super fast charging, 25 watts, and comes standard in the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus boxes. The 45 watt, very important, is not going to work on the Note 10. It only works with the Note 10 Plus. You'll see that the cable you get this time is USB-C to USB-C, which leaves me with a bone that I have to pick with Microsoft for adopting the USB-C port so late. My Surface Pro 4 is now officially outdated. I think a lot of people are going to have this problem with their computers not having a USB-C port, so you're going to have to get, if you're like me, a to C cable. Make sure that it's data and charging, not just a charging cable. Another cool thing that Samsung did was throw in a clear case for free in the box, as well as a pre-fitted screen protector. You'll see mine is quite scratched, but if you don't mind, I'm just going to leave it on there until I can get it replaced. I got a original Samsung silicone case for the phone in this blue color, which is only in North America, but I had Amazon ship it to me here in South Africa. It took about a week, so that's okay. It is a really premium feeling, a little bit rubberized on the inside. What surprised me was exactly how slim fit it is for an original Samsung case. Really nice clicky buttons. The only problem is maybe there's a bit of a gap at the bottom here where it could get damaged. From this view, this leads me to my next point. Rest in peace, headphone jack. This is a significant move from Samsung because they've left it out of their first flagship device. As a company that held on to it the longest, for such a big company, this marks the beginning of the end. If you've been living under a rock, you might not know that there's been a surge in the market for wireless earbuds. You don't just have to get the AirPods and the Galaxy Buds, which are quite expensive. There are good mid-range options as well as budget options as well. So Samsung as a piece offering throws in their usual AKGs, but now it's a USB-C connector. So I would recommend you're going to have to invest in some Bluetooth headphones at some point. They throw in these ear tips if you've got big or small ears, as well as a SIM ejector tool and a clip that is used for your S Pen. This is to take out your nibs, and they give you a spare nib and a different size nib, kind of reminiscent of the Surface Pen, where they give you this little container here with different feel nibs, a 2H, H, HB, and B, and so on. If you're interested in dabbling with some photography on your Note 10, then one of these mini octopus tripods is a must-have. The last accessory I'm going to recommend for this video is all about gaming. The quality of games for mobile devices has really gotten very good in the last few years and becoming more and more popular. You can buy controllers that clip to the side of your phone in all weird and wonderful variants. But the option I'm going to recommend is a simple clip. There's nothing better than a traditional console controller, and this Xbox One S controller uses Bluetooth, and you clip it in, connect to your phone via Bluetooth, and you've got a fully fledged controller to play your mobile games with. So when you're done, you just pop up the stand and you can set it down.
Let's take a look at DeX in 2019 and the phone companion app.
Samsung launched DeX alongside the Galaxy S8. And this essentially allowed you to turn any screen into a desktop, and that's powered by your mobile device. But you needed a DeX docking station to do this. In 2019, they changed it. Now all you need is a USB cable. So you'll see it loads over the top of Windows 10 and it looks very familiar. It's a desktop environment with your taskbar, your info icons, and so on. Here you click here and it opens your app drawer or your start or your launchpad, whatever you use. And you can see there's a file management system. It works a very similar way. You've got Microsoft Office, which they've optimized specifically for DeX, so it's a bit better than a mobile version. You've got your browser, which you can use Chrome, Firefox, Edge, whichever you prefer. Adobe's even come to the party and created
a video editing software called Premiere Rush, so you can do some video editing on here. You can even play some of your mobile games that get rendered on a desktop with keyboard input. So here's an example of Asphalt 9 that you can play. The thing that really makes this work for me is two things. I don't need the DeX docking station, and my OneDrive means that I can jump into this straight away and I'm good to go. So Satya Nadella got up at the Samsung event and announced a big partnership and collaboration with Microsoft and Samsung, and that excites me because although this I feel is not really ready for most people yet, as they refine the experience and phones become more and more powerful, it can only get better. Another thing that Samsung announced with Microsoft was the Phone Companion app for Windows. You can see on the note there's a link to PC button in the drop-down menu. Here you can do things like look at photos, copy them to your desktop. What I like about the messages is they come through here and you can just reply straight from your desktop. You can also mirror your phone screen. Let's take a look at what the Note 10 is really all about, the S Pen. The Note 10 has pretty standard specs for a flagship in 2019 at a bit of a higher price. Let's be clear, that higher price is for the S Pen. This makes your decision really easy. If you don't want an S Pen, go and get an S10 and they'll throw in a headphone jack for free. If you want the S Pen, then there is really nowhere else to turn. Samsung has really mastered this. This year's unibody design for rigidity, the gyro and accelerometers in here, replaceable nibs, and the housing implementation is just so slick. So the question you need to answer is, does the benefit outweigh the cost for you? And I'm sorry, Samsung, using it as a wand is not the benefit I'm talking about. As a long-term Surface Pro user, maybe I can help set your imagination free a bit and give you some inspiration and show you what some of those benefits are for me. The first thing you could use your S Pen for is for navigation. You can swipe up, flick through menus. You're supposed to be able to use air gestures, but I get that you can't use the S Pen in this app warning quite a lot, so that's not great. So when you pull out your pen, Samsung opens up a menu of the tools that they've put on the phone for you. So I'll go through a handful of these with you. Smart Select is exactly what the name suggests, is an advanced selection tool where you could do things like extract text from a specific part of the screen. You can crop to a weird and wonderful hand-drawn shape or a square. You could record a GIF. You could even take a piece of the screen and pin it and carry on working underneath it until later. These are features that might take a little bit of conscious practice at first before they become second nature. ScreenWrite allows you to write on screenshots. Live Message allows you to write on other kinds of media like videos. So here's a video of my son getting up this morning, and as it plays, I can draw on it and show you there's all 4 points of contact, and that was what enabled him to stand up. If you like to dabble with a little bit of art from time to time, then PenApp is going to be great. You can choose different brushes and certain things and really get the creative side flowing, if you like. You can also even just do some coloring if that's maybe more your speed, which is quite enjoyable when you get into it and so on. You can also even go into your gallery and pull out a photograph and paint over it. The most useful thing at first was being able to sign a PDF document that came through on an email. You can also highlight and take notes. You can take notes at any time from a blank screen, take your pen out, and you're ready to write. In Samsung Notes, you can rest your hand quite comfortably on the screen here and write notes, and you can do things like convert your handwriting into text quite easily. You can also just leave it as you've written it if that's what you would prefer. When you save your notes and you go back to search for it, I can go back and search for Brown, for example, and it'll both search the text version as well as the handwritten version of that word. I love being able to take notes on both my Note 10 and my Surface Pro. OneNote makes this seamless, where
notes taken on one device will automatically show on the other and vice versa. I do some training and facilitation, so this last S Pen use is probably my favorite. In PowerPoint, you can use it to click between slides, as well as write directly onto a slide and present a view like a big digital whiteboard. The S Pen fundamentally changes the way you interact with your device, as well as what you can do on your device. So if you saw any value in the examples I shared with you, then this little piece of hardware is what you're paying that extra premium for.
In summary, the decision is really easy. It's all about the S Pen. If the S Pen's for you, you've got no other choice but to go Note 9, 10 or 10 Plus. If the S Pen's not for you, then grab a headphone jack and go back to the S10 and maybe get some better bang for your buck. For me, I went to the standard 10 because when I put it in my hand, it reminded me of probably my favorite device of all time. The S6 Edge just felt really special in my hand, and you don't lose screen real estate. It's about the same size as the Note 10 in the body of an S10. So it just felt really special in my hand. The compromises weren't really such a big deal for me. The screen, the storage, and it just didn't bother me too much. So that's why I went Note 10, but it's a personal decision. So guys, thanks for watching. Guys, once again, please like and subscribe, hit the notifications icon. I really appreciate it.